Hello everybody, it is SeKo Starcraft here, having myself a little bit of coffee, so I just got off work and it's not quite beer time. We're watching a replay, can't remember what this is from, it might have been Go for SC2, can't quite recall, but we got Han, this is Han, it's actually Deezor, according to the replay, up against Impact. The really strong zerg player out of Team Axiom. We saw him just wreak havoc throughout the entire Acer Team Story Cup. He destroyed Team Liquid, posed a lot of trouble for even the top players like Innovation. We see him now doing some funky stuff with his drones just to get optimal on his mining. Deezor up here in the top left is going to be suffering from what looks like going to be a 9 pool happening out of here. This isn't really all-in-ish. I actually kind of enjoy playing Zerg, mixing in 9 pools and 12 pools just to put on a little bit of pressure. It's not too hard to move out of that into some macro, but it is pretty important you do some damage or at least throw your opponent off a lot. So we'll see if Deezor, I know it says Han, but I'm pretty sure it's actually Deezor, is going to be able to go for a classic wall off here. I don't know if that's a wall off, it doesn't look tight. And then he's going to go for a scout, which will help him out a fair bit. As Impact down here, we'll be sending those links across here pretty soon, and the sooner you know, the better you are, because knowledge is power. So how's everybody else doing? I actually made myself some homemade espresso with like the powdered espresso crap. Doesn't taste that great, but man, it gives you a little boot in the ass. Sure makes you feel better. 6 lings on the way. I don't think he's going to pull any drones or anything. It's not a 6 pool. Just going to try and go in and get a bit of damage. Coming up here and seeing the timing of the pool doesn't tell you too much, but the fact that there's no hatch down means he might be trying to block it. But there wasn't a very big drone count. So I've got to assume that Deezor knows what's up, that he is being rushed. He's getting his gas. A couple of probes coming off. Now this is pretty strange that he's not using that as part of a wall off here. The probe actually slowed down the zerglings by like half a second. It's kind of funny. So we have an zealot out. A second one's getting chrono boosted, and maybe he's just very convinced he can hold this with just what he has out here for army. We're going to have the timing of that hatch, so Deezor's going to see that this isn't too crazy of an all-in. He'll go back in and scout again. Overlord, you're going to give some vision. Second zealot's about to pop out. They're actually going to get a surround on this here. Let's see what kind of micro we can get out of Impact. He's lost himself 3 of his zerglings. Actually keeps 3 alive out of his, I believe, 8 that moved across here. So, units-wise, pretty big lead for the protoss. He's up by 4 probes right now. We'll lose one fairly easily. The mothership core is out now, and that should be able to control stuff. I'm sure the thing that Deezor really wants to do right now is throw down his Nexus. He's got the minerals in place here to essentially do that, but now he's had to invest a lot into attacking units that I'm sure he didn't really want to. This 3 gate's a little bit mysterious here. I don't think he's reading into this well. Maybe he's expecting another follow-up attack. But if we look at Impact side of things, he's just droning up, getting on more queens, and this base is about to go down. Deezor invested in these other 2 like gateways here, but he doesn't even have his. There's his warp gate research on the way. He might just be really sure that it might be a big follow-up of attacking units, whereas this probably been better off going into a Nexus right now. He's got the mothership core out in some units. Should be able to hold it off fairly easily. That ling was just more checking for a Nexus. He doesn't see it. So he might be convinced there could be an attack coming. Hard to say. This probe is going to move out on the map. And I mean, Deezor does have the opportunity to go for some 3-gate pressure here. He's still making attacking units. Supply blocked pretty huge. This is actually pretty unfortunate for him here. He's not really going to have out a ton of units. And there's Zerg units everywhere to scout. Double gas now. If we look at the units tab, we can see that the Protoss players cut probes. He's not made any probes. So I guess he's going all in after this, I've got to assume. I mean, he's not making any more probes, and he's just got those 3 gates up. Does have a pylon in place over here. He's actually getting a Nexus. This is really strange. I don't know if I really agree with this play at all. Finally investing more in probes now, but he's already quite behind. We have 1 Spinecrawler going down for defense and a Roach Warren. I'm sure that Impact is gotta think there's gotta be some sort of pressure coming out of here, seeing that there wasn't a Nexus down at that conventional timing. Pylon will get cancelled over here. He's actually pulled out of the gas at this point. 10 more drones. I guess he's pretty confident that there isn't an attack coming, so he's just going to hit up a huge economy. Stargate now as well. Warp gate is finished. There's his transition over. Small bit of an army. Mothership Core Nexus is mega delayed. And now we're starting to see unit production here out of Impact. He might just be skipping over, going for a third base and going for a 2-base timing here. Getting a third gas down. Hasn't put workers into this gas just yet. Lair started at the natural. Creep kind of working its way out here. Spore Crawler going down. I'm sure that Impact's just as confused as I am, that there's nothing really happening. He's up by almost double supply. We don't see any crazy tech. We haven't seen any Stargate tech. We haven't... And there hasn't been really a scout by the Zerg player in a while, but this just must seem somewhat strange to him. Looks like he was considering fighting some of these units down here. He's actually going to get a sentry and 2 stalkers for just these lings. Oh, doesn't quite kill that last one. We'll head up into the main. Sees the Stargate timing. He's actually going to pick off a couple of probes here, essentially for free. Just gets 3 of them all out of gas. And he is getting his third base down after this here. More zerglings coming out, roach speed, more gas. So we're likely just going to see a big roach follow-up here pretty soon. Burrow on the way. I like that. If we go back to the units tab, we see that it's 24 workers to 45. Deezor's looking a little outclassed right now. Maybe he's just really flustered. Maybe he's not on his game. Hasn't put anything really back into this gas yet. He's got a bunch of bank here that he's not really using on anything. Oh, there's the Oracle. Only 1 kill on it and already gets shooed away. Spore Crawlers were in place for that, and more lings are on their way up across the map. There's nothing really that fancy coming out of... Well, the whole army is getting pulled right now to deal with those few lings. This is looking pretty amateur time here by Deezor. I'm a little disappointed altogether. These lings are actually still alive. The whole army is getting pulled now to come down into the natural. Oracle has to be pulled to even defend the Nexus from getting any damage. And gets 1 more probe, just for the heck of it. 10 roaches on the way. Speed's about to finish up. Lair is done. Now he's just making big time roaches. He probably could just go back into macroing up again. So we can see on the side of Deezor, he's got all this money once again. Look at all this money he's not spending on anything. He's got gateways that are cooled down. He's got supply opening up. He's trying to remake some drones, but nothing out of this. This is what it's like on ladder every now and then, where you play against somebody that, you know, is a couple leagues below you, and you don't know why they're matched up against you, and then they just kind of get, like, junior rolled. Throws down a time warp instead of a recall here. It's a bit of a mistake. He probably could have saved all these units. Particularly when he's not going to be able to save them here. The Oracle's doing a bit of damage, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really designed to take out light units. 12 more roaches on the way. There's a void ray happening, but he can have 3 void rays out, and these roaches will probably still be able to kill just about every building he has. There's still lings in the main. What the hell? Quadruple the supply right now for the... Oh man, that was just a sad game. I don't know what was up with Deezor on that one. I don't know if he got matched up that badly, but that was probably one of the easiest walkovers I've seen at a pro level by anybody. SeKo Starcraft, let's move on to something that's a little bit more competitive.